Hi there, gamers. Welcome back to our channel. I'd like to start this episode by thanking all of you for helping me set a record for my last video. Over 100 views. Your support is very important to me, and it is very much appreciated. And just in case you haven't watched that video yet, I'll put a link for you in the description. Today we're diving into a topic that's both magical and powerful: queer representation in video games. From brave adventurers to complex love stories, gaming has come a long way in celebrating diversity. So, let's see how our favorite pixels are breaking barriers. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell.
It's a vibe, baby. I got a hustler mentality on the grind, baby.
Alright, the first character we are going to talk about today is no other than Gay Tony from GTA for the Ballad of Gay Tony, and the opinions here are pretty mixed since we are still talking about a Rockstar game. In an article about him, Real Time UK says Gay Tony is one of their, Rockstar's, most nuanced characters to date. As the deuteragonist of GTA 4, you see a lot of depth to Tony beyond his sexuality. You see his highs, his lows, and his rock bottoms. He's a shady nightclub owner, and as much of a criminal as you can expect from Grand Theft Auto. He also just happens to be gay. It's refreshing to see an early example where a character is defined by something other than their sexuality. Yes, he's called Gay Tony, but the game goes to lengths to show you who, what, and why Tony is beyond that moniker. On the other hand, in an article from December 5th, 2023 titled Grand Theft Auto 6 has a chance to fix the franchise's terrible record on LGBTQ+ representation, author Shakina Johnson from Pink News pointed out that it was in fact a shame that the character's sexuality was never explored and that the game was, in all other respects, thoroughly heterosexual. Focusing on Luis Lopez being a ladies' man with missions involving booty calls, as well as the use of sex workers, all of whom are female. Now I thought about it for some time, and I've decided I don't really have an angle here. Whether Tony was an appropriate portrayal or not is far from being something I can decide. But I'm just gonna say, it was a character that I really grew to love, just like many other GTA characters. His struggles, charm, and unique personality certainly set him apart and make some of us love him. But let me know your thoughts on it. Next on our list, we are going way back in the 1980s. Yeah, you heard that right. Surprising as it is, there was some representation even back in the 80s, although we must point out that these characters were rarely shown in a realistic or non-stereotypical context, and were often the objects of ridicule or jokes. In an article from Philadelphia Gay News, we find out about the characters of Yasmine and Madrid from a game called Circuit's Edge, based on the George Alec Effinger's 1987 novel, When Gravity Fails. As the player character, you assume the role of Madrid Audran, a private detective. While running errands for Saeed the Half-Hatch, a friend of Madrid's, he is being framed for murder. He investigates the death of a man named Kenji Carter, leading him deep into the criminal underworld of the Budayin, an entertainment/criminal quarter in an unnamed Middle Eastern city inspired by New Orleans. In this game, Yasmine is a transgender woman. As the game quotes, Yasmine was Madrid Audran's longtime girlfriend, although she hadn't been born female. They seem to have grown more distant lately. Yasmine may be tricked into being an excellent source of data on Madrid. While Madrid's sexual orientation is not explicitly stated in the game, nor the original novel, his complex relationships and interactions with various characters contribute to the game's rich narrative. Our next example is the character of Sam from the Fulbright Company's Gone Home. The game drops us into a rainy night in 1995. We play as Caitlin Greenbrier, returning home after a year abroad. When we arrive, the house is eerily empty. No parents, no sister. Just silence and unanswered questions. As we explore, we find notes, letters, and cassette tapes left by Sam, Caitlin's younger sister. Sam's voice guides us through her coming-of-age journey, and that's when we find out that Sam is gay. We witness her first crush, her fears, and her self-discovery. Sam's sexuality isn't a plot twist, it's woven into the fabric of the game. In his review for IGN, Marty Silva quotes, "Gone Home is a remarkable first-person adventure that tells one of the finest stories I've ever experienced in games." Next, in the words of CBR's Jenny Melzer, we have Dorian of House Pavis, all wit, flash, and sarcasm, who is a favorite companion and romance option for players of BioWare's Dragon Age Inquisition. Dorian hails from Tevinter, a land of political intrigue and magical elitism. But he's not your typical everyday mage. He rejects the oppressive norms, fights against corruption, and, most importantly, loves whomever he well pleases.
I prefer the company of men. My father disapproves.
I'll need you to explain that.
Did I stutter? Men and the company thereof, as in sex. Surely you've heard of it.
It is during a confrontation that Dorian explains that his father tried to use blood magic to change his nature after discovering his son was gay and had no plans to marry his betrothed and continue the family line. The Inquisitor can either encourage Dorian to hear his father out or suggest they leave. Either way, he is happy to have been given that opportunity for closure. What I particularly liked about Dorian's story is that he reminds all of us that magic isn't about fireballs and lightning bolts. It's about breaking chains and embracing love.
What? Fireflies?
Get down!
Oh! Who the fuck are these guys? Stay the fuck back!
I think we're reaching a fan favorite here, and of course we're going to talk about Ellie's character from The Last of Us, Left Behind. In this DLC, players follow Ellie's backstory. Her relationship with Riley, another teenage girl, is beautifully portrayed, emphasizing their emotional connection. There's so much to say here, but what I love the most is that she's not just the token LGBTQ+ character thrown in for diversity points. No, she's fully fleshed out. She's a fighter, a survivor, and her sexuality is just one part of who she is. Her relationships, especially her deep bond with Riley, show that queer characters can have rich emotional connections. It's not just about sex, it's about love, friendship, and vulnerability. And Ellie's impact goes beyond the screen. Players, both LGBTQ+ and allies, have connected with her. They've seen themselves in her struggles, her courage, and her resilience. She's a beacon of hope for those who felt invisible. Fans create fan art, write fanfiction, and share their own stories inspired by Ellie. She's become a symbol of acceptance and authenticity. So, thank you, Ellie. Thank you for being unapologetically you. Thank you for breaking barriers, challenging stereotypes, and reminding us that love knows no bounds, even in a world overrun by infected. Now, I'm addressing all of you, and I just want to remind everyone that representation matters. And Ellie, she's a hero, both in the game and in our hearts. As we're closing the video for today, I hope everyone out there feels loved and accepted, and thank you for watching this special episode.